Hey guys, today I am joined by JEANIE, a New York-based bass artist and producer that's been making her mark on the scene with some of her new explosive tracks released on Subsidia Records and her EP Sinner that came out in October. She's also the founder behind GRL GANG, an initiative formed to support female artists in the industry, which we love to see. She was one of your EDM's top artists to watch in 2020, and I could not agree more with that. You guys are in for a real treat today, so let's just get into it. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Capotis. What is up? Happy Wednesday, you guys. I hope you all are doing well and having a great week so far. I know you guys are really gonna enjoy today's interview. I can't wait to get into it, but before we dive into things, I just had to say that this is literally it's not even done yet, already been the busiest month of the year for me, and it's gonna continue that way. I just, behind the scenes, have a lot going on. It's crazy, and I'm trying to wrap up a lot before the end of the year, but I really quickly wanted to mention something because I'm so excited about it. But for those of you who don't follow me on social media, I am about to launch my very first online course. It's something I have been working on since September, like countless hours, and it's called How to Build a Highly Engaged Social Media Audience. So if any of you guys are content creators, aspiring social media influencers, or you just want to learn more, this is a course I'm launching at the end of January. It's 6 modules, 15 lessons, all types of freebies and resources packed into that, group community calls on Zoom, and it's literally my exact framework of how I've kind of grown my engagement. And I pride myself in having a much higher than average engagement rate, especially on Instagram. So I am teaching you guys everything you need to know about how to grow your engagement on social media, what content you should be making, who your audience is, captions, hashtags, all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is my pre-sale week. So today through Friday, this window is closing. It is available for $50 off, a total investment of $247 for everything. And you guys get a bonus if you sign up this week. So if you guys are ready to commit, you are ready to start changing your social media content strategy, I'm telling you, you are gonna walk out of this with your life changed. So if you guys are interested, there's a link in bio to join, and I hope to have you guys in class. You're all invited, and I would love nothing more than to spill all my social media secrets to you guys. So anyway, just wanted to mention that because I am so excited about it, and that is where my focus has been, getting this course ready to launch. Okay. Quickly guys, I wanted to take you through our listener of the week. So if any of you guys are new here, first off, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Rave Culture Cast. So excited to have you here. I like to highlight and shout out our listeners, and these are based on your nominations. So if you guys ever want me to shout anybody out for whatever reason, please feel free to email me, raveculturecast@gmail.com, and send in your submissions. So this week, shout out goes to our listener, DJ Tide. He classifies himself as an older raver / DJ and says, it's very refreshing to hear my podcast, hear about how the rave scene has changed and has been flourishing. I was once a candy kid too, so I was there before the additional R was added to plur, P-L-U-R-R, as well as before the plur handshake was created. Hope you guys have a great day, and that is from DJ Tide. So huge shout out to DJ Tide. Thank you so much for being our listener of the week. I am thrilled that you are enjoying the podcast and that you are from an older generation of ravers. I think that's amazing, and I seriously am like honored anytime I meet somebody, because I'm new. I definitely would consider myself new, even though I've been raving for like 9 years. Still definitely the newer generation, so I think that's awesome. Okay, before I get into the intro here, I want to just get into the interview, but as always, you guys, reminders about the podcast. Please, if you can, rate, review, subscribe. Come say hello over on the new YouTube channel, Rave Culture Cast. If you guys want to watch the interviews, definitely watch this one with JEANIE. She's super chill, and we have some bonus clips going up. We did a quick little bonus interview at the end that will be available on the Rave Culture Cast YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. And of course, you can always join the Facebook group if you guys want to continue the conversation and meet other fellow ravers and music festival goers. So with all that being said, quick intro to JEANIE. So as I mentioned, she is a bass and dubstep music producer, artist, DJ, all of the words. And she's been producing for around 5 years. She recently had some tracks come out on Excision's new label, Subsidia Records, which is a huge honor and so cool. I think that was, how did I find Jeannie? No, I found Jeannie through Girl Gang actually, but then I saw her songs on Subsidia. So Girl Gang is an initiative that she founded, and it basically is expanding the presence of female artists in the electronic music scene, which is amazing and so freaking needed. They have compilations they do, so if you guys want to listen to music and things like that, you can check out their SoundCloud. They also have done 2 live streams so far called GRL FEST. That is definitely how I found out. I saw the GRL FEST flyer on Instagram and I was like, what is this? This is amazing. And I loved it because there were all of these female artists on the lineup that I didn't know, and I love discovering new music. And then I clicked on it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I love what Girl Gang is. By the way, it's spelled GRL GANG, all in capital. So if you want to look it up, they are at We Are Girl Gang on Instagram. And it's this amazing network of women, and I think it's really cool what they're doing. I don't think they're having any more live streams this year, but definitely stay tuned next year. And yeah, Jeannie has been absolutely killing it. She's been in the scene for a while, but has been exploding lately, and her new EP, Sinner, is amazing. So if you guys are dubstep fans, bass music fans, she's fucking awesome. Please go show her some love at Jeannie Sounds on Instagram and stream her new songs, do all of the things. It's amazing. I think she's awesome. So you guys are gonna get to know her today. So please join me in welcoming Jeannie to the podcast. So I want to start back from sort of like the beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about your story of producing music and what got you into it, and sort of like how you started your whole project as Jeannie?
Yeah, totally. So I got into like EDM it was pretty much the end of high school going into college. My best friend was like, hey, do you want to go to EDC? And we went to the one in New York. I didn't really know anything about it, but I knew enough. So I like made a tutu and a flower bra and like all this candy. And it was just so cool. I mean, it was like the best experience. Then after that, I was kind of hooked throughout college. And after college, I think I started producing first, but I remember I worked at a restaurant, and a friend of mine at the time who worked there with me was a DJ, and he kind of showed me the basics and stuff. And then I bought my own controller and kind of taught myself. And around that same time, I started to learn Ableton. So I just kind of sat down one day. It was like the day after my final exam in college, like immediately after. And I started a notebook. I like wrote all my little notes in it to like learn Ableton. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think for like the next year, it was just nonstop. Like I didn't sleep. I was up until 6 a.m. every day, which was probably so unhealthy, but I just like kept going until I was like, you know, comfortable with what I was making. And then I started to get a little bit more into DJing again after like a year or so. And then everything just kind of went from there.
Oh my God. And what year was that in when you first started?
Oh my God. I don't even remember. It was, I think, 5 years ago now.
Okay. I was going to say, because New York stopped in 2016. So it must have been like a little before then. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. So when you first like went to EDC, or when you were first starting to like teach yourself, what were your musical interests then? Like, who were you listening to?
Definitely a different sound. It was like a V and Blau and like all those like, big room DJs. And then I got into like trap and future bass for a while, and now I'm more like just on the like dubstep bass music thing. But it's definitely, I think like my taste and also what I've been making has just like changed so much over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I was going to say, I think a lot of people sort of probably around our age, like started with like those heavy hitters, or like the people that, you know, what like helped explode EDM kind of in like mid 2010s. But who are your musical influences now, would you say?
Oh my God. It really depends on the day, which is why I think like some of my music sounds so different from each other.
Yeah.
But like right now I've really been inspired by Company, Must Die, Excision. I'm just like also really inspired by my friends all the time. So like, I think that helps a lot, just hearing their music. I've also been loving Louis Jax, or I think it's Louis J. And they're kind of more like hybrid type of sound. So yeah, it kind of varies, but those I think are the ones who are most inspiring me right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was going to ask you, I'm kind of curious, like two things. One, given what happened this past year and spending a lot more time at home rather than being on the road or going to shows, like, do you think that's affected what you've been listening to? Or like, do you think that's helped you discover a different sound for yourself because you've had time to just like be at home and kind of focusing on it?
Um, in a way, sort of. Like in my free time, I usually kind of listen to different things anyways. Like I've always listened to like metal or like more like rock based stuff. So that hasn't changed so much, but I've definitely gotten into more drum and bass this year, I think. I still do listen to a lot of bass music, especially when I'm just trying to get inspired. But
Right.
I will say, like, I think I've discovered a lot more artists this year, just kind of listening to things in different situations. And like when you're at home, you're not going to listen to bass music all the time and headbang in your room. I
A
mean, you
little
can
different.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
So
I love that. There's so many TikToks out there right now that are like, it's that same theme. It's like, you can't listen to this during the day and people are like making breakfast with like dubstep blasting in the background. I'm like, I mean, we kind of do listen to it all the time, but I know what you're saying. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I'm obsessed with TikTok. I was going to say.
You are? Oh my God. No, I feel like everybody kind of like got onto it this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially the EDM community is huge on it. I've been discovering like so many different artists through that. And I feel like seeing new faces than I was seeing on Instagram or on YouTube. Like I don't know, it's just kind of like exploded. I would even say like the EDM and raving community just on TikTok alone.
Yeah, definitely. My whole feed now has gotten to just like music and I'm so happy about it, but
that's awesome. Fun. What do you think about the current state of the bass music industry or like what's coming out recently? I know that's a loaded question.
Yeah. In terms of shows, it's a little weird. I think like on the bright side, I mean, I think it's so cool. And this is just across music in general that people have been kind of still finding ways to throw events like drive-ins and I guess live streams fall into that. So I think that's cool. But in terms of music, I think it's actually, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of gone up and down this year. Like right now, I feel like there's just been so much music because I feel like that's what artists need to like really rely on right now.
Right.
Especially with all the Subsidia compilations and just I feel like a lot of labels are doing compilations right now. There's just so much good music.
Right.
So I think it's kind of cool. And I feel like people are more explorative, I guess, of their sound right now, just because, like you said, people aren't listening to dubstep all the time. So
no, it's so true. Well, you touched on a good point too, because even like this, like just to get into like all the subgenres of bass music, I feel like before it was like obviously dubstep and then rhythm and like a couple other ones, but now I don't know if it is just like being more knowledgeable about EDM genres, but it's like future bass, melodic dubstep, like all these smaller genres seem to like really be taking off right now. So I'm always wondering like, what is going to be the next big thing? I don't know. Do you think about that at all when you're making music, or do you just go with whatever you're feeling?
I kind of just go with whatever I'm feeling. Like sometimes if I hear something really new and cool, I'll try and use that as inspiration, but it usually ends up sounding completely different anyways. But no, I think you're right. Like I've been hearing, I think they call it like future rhythm. There's like a new label called Halcyon.
Right.
I don't know how you say it. I'm like so awful with pronunciation, but Leo Trix was just on there and like put out a really cool, weird sound. So I think you're right. People are definitely making a lot of weird, different stuff. I think it's really dope.
Yeah. And even, I mean, obviously not this year, but even festivals in general, like I think the popularity of specific bass music festivals are going to continue to grow when they come back. Cause obviously Excision starting Lost Lands, but then you have like Bass Canyon and Camp Bisco and all these other festivals. So I don't know, it'll definitely be interesting. And you played some drive-in events too. Like how was that experience?
Yeah. Oh, it was so weird. I mean, it was amazing because I haven't had that feeling in so long. But at the same time, it's not the same because everyone is separated and I'm so grateful for it that like it's even possible. But you don't get the same energy of like a crowd and everyone together. And like I feed off of that so much. And I know a lot of other artists do. So
Mm-hmm.
it was great, but it was also like not the same, you know?
Yeah. And were you traveling for those, or were those more local?
I traveled, but I just had to drive. So the one I played with Subtronics in Pennsylvania, I think was like a 6-hour drive, but
Okay.
my friends were playing shows at the same venue. So there was like a month or two where I was driving up like every other weekend, it seemed. So I was kind of used to it. But by the end, I
Okay.
was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's
Yeah.
such like a weird time though right now, because even on the East Coast, like in California or Texas or Arizona, like they've been throwing drive-in raves like pretty frequently, but around
Mhm.
here it really is just Pennsylvania kind of seems to be the only state that seems open to throwing them. So like I haven't been to a live event since March, right? Like
Mhm.
pre-COVID was the last one. So I cannot even imagine what that experience is like. It seems like people still keep the spirit alive though. Like people are getting dressed up and still bringing flow toys and like all
Yeah.
that stuff. So I don't know. What is it like looking out at just like cars?
It's cool. I mean, people have been like decorating their cars and stuff and
Mm,
getting flags, and it's cool. I mean, the one that I played had rails for everyone. So like people like had
so
their own
cool.
little rails. So it was cool, you know?
They're still getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute. I mean, it honestly, whatever we can do to keep things alive and like at least have a little bit of a live event experience, I think like you kind of just have to take what you can get. And I keep saying too, people like you can come back like later in your life and be like, in 2020 I played drive-in events, which who knows if they'll even continue to be a thing when real events
Yeah.
come back. So you can kind of say you experienced them, which is cool.
Yeah. No, it's really cool for
That's
sure.
awesome. And okay, so I want to talk about Subsidia as well, because I know your new
Yeah.
single Rage Fatigue just came out on the volume 2, but
Yeah.
walk me through like behind the scenes of that. Like how does that come together? Were you already working on that single and then got approached to be on it, or were you approached to be on the compilation and come up with a single for it?
So originally I was on the first Subsidia
Hmm.
like round of compilations, the launch. And at the time I had sent them a few different songs. So they picked um Doomsday with Jinx, which I
Hmm.
think she actually sent that to them, but around the same time I sent them like 3 other ones. And so
Okay.
we put out Doomsday on the first one and they were like, we'd actually like to save this one for the second one. So I was like, okay. So
Nice.
I
Yeah.
had that one done already. And then they came back recently and we're like, okay, we're going to launch a second compilation. Do you still want to release this? And I was like, hell yeah. So then, you know, we did another release with them and it was awesome. They're the best.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
such a cool, I mean, I know like compilations aren't a new thing, but I feel like the first announcement of Subsidia, just like as a record label, and then not only that, but like, oh, and also here's 100 new songs on 3 different volumes. I feel like it just gave bass fans like everything they could possibly need. And like, there's absolutely no shortage of new music. So it must be like cool just to be a part of that, because it was such a big drop this year too.
Yeah, it's so nice. I feel like the community too, like all the Subsidia fans and artists are so supportive of each
Hmm.
other. And I think it's just like its own little community that's kind of been built, which is really cool. And yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, there was so much music. I think it took me like so long to go through all of it, but it
Oh
was
my
worth
God.
it.
I can't even imagine. Have you been able to like stay in touch, obviously, this year with other producers and DJs?
Yeah, so I've definitely done, I think, more collabs this year than I have
Hmm.
any other year, just because I think people have gotten bored of producing alone and
Yeah.
like you can only do it for so long before you start to go a little crazy. So I've definitely done more collabs than usual. I've seen a lot of friends at those drive-ins.
Hmm.
And other than that, yeah, I mean, I think just people, especially like in our community, like
Hmm.
without shows, there's not really much to go off. So I think artists have kind of just been really supportive of each other more than ever, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, it's the only way to connect right now, too, right? Like Zoom meetings and just like kind of FaceTiming people and like having that break from being by yourself or just with family all the time. But do you have
Yeah.
any dream collabs or like people you're dying to work with?
Definitely Excision. That would be like my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with Company. Sudden Death. I think like Peekaboo or G-Rex would be really cool.
Ooh, yeah.
I'd love to make something with Zeke Beats. I think we would make something really sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'd love to just like obviously work with more women too, because I think it's really fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's like the energy of all the people that you've performed with too when live events were happening and things like that. Like I was going to ask you, what are the characters? Because I went back on your feed and I was watching like all of your videos from like shows in New York and things like that. So like, how would you describe a live Jeannie set? Like, what are the characteristics of your set?
Um, it's kind of crazy. I try to make every set as like different and as fun as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I'll like play bass music for the most part. Sometimes I'll like throw house in the middle if I'm like feeling a little spicy.
Yeah.
I usually end with drum and bass for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I just try and make like fun edits for everything and play a bunch of underground stuff that not everyone else is playing because I think one, that's just really fun for people to hear new
Mm-hmm.
stuff they've never heard before. And I'm always on SoundCloud looking for like new underground artists that like make really cool shit. So
Mm.
yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks very high energy and like people go
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. So I was like, I have to be at a Jeannie set when
I
events
don't
come
know.
back 100%.
I seriously don't know where I get that energy because I'm so like chill like in my daily life and I'm like always tired and I don't know, it like is a different person.
Turns on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to ask you. So the last episode I did was about mental health in the EDM industry and like just talking about DJs' lifestyles and like how
Mhm.
crazy it is. So for you personally, how do you feel about balancing real life and then what your normal tours or schedules and things like that? Like, how do you balance and keep like a healthy lifestyle at the same time?
It's definitely hard. I mean, I personally haven't toured that much, so I haven't experienced that kind of like, I guess you could say isolation that I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists experience. But I think one, like some of the most important things are just being healthy and working out. Cause I feel like when I work out regularly, I just feel so much better,
Mm-hmm.
like mentally.
Right.
And so I think that's a big one. Also, just staying connected with people is really easy because I'm the kind of, or is really helpful because I'm the kind of
Mm-hmm.
person who I'll just kind of like isolate myself and not reach out to anyone for a while. And then I'm like, all right, I
Mm-hmm.
should probably like go see someone or hang out with people, which like obviously, is a lot harder now. But
Yeah.
I think just connection with other people is really helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard people say that therapy is really helpful. So I feel like I should probably do that. We should all do that. So that's
Right.
something I think in
Yep.
that situation would probably be helpful when you don't have a lot of people to connect with all the time, just traveling
Mm-hmm.
by yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I would echo everything you say. And I mean, I just keep telling myself too, and I said this on last week's podcast, like if you can get through this year, I feel like you can kind of get through anything. Cause I just
Yeah.
saw today that Time, their magazine cover for the year was like 2020 with a huge X through it. And it was
Oh
like
my
the
God.
worst year in history is like what their tagline was. I was like, okay, great. And they were just talking about things that have like happened in the past and like older people and what they've lived through. And they were like, literally no one has ever experienced anything like this year. So if you obviously can still produce music or still work hard at your craft or do what you're doing, like you're getting yourself, you're progressing more than you think you're progressing, even though we're not like out and doing things and things like that. So I don't know for you right now at this time, like what are your goals right now? Or like what's kind of driving you every day?
Um, Honestly, I go through phases where I'm really motivated and then I'm not motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And usually shows are what would motivate me. But I think right now it's honestly just the fans. I feel like people I feel like I've gotten more support this year than I ever have. And it like is so
Mm-hmm.
crazy to me. And I feel like just every like little message or comment or like it just like motivates me to keep going and keep making music and doing what
Right.
I can. So that I think helps the most.
Yeah, for sure. What was the response like to your EP Sinner? Because I loved all the tracks on there. That came out great. And that came
Thank
out back in October, correct? I
Yeah, like
think.
the
Yeah.
week before Halloween.
Okay. Yeah. What was the
Yeah.
response like from your fans?
It was so good. I mean, I've had that EP done for like a year, I think, before it came
Mm,
out. So
okay.
I was kind of not that excited about it by then because I was like, this is like so old, you know, like I heard these songs 200 times. I don't want to hear them ever again. But then like the response was so great that it just made me so much more excited again. So I was so happy with it. Like, I think that's the most like cohesive project, the most time I've put into a project. So it was like really nice to just see everyone be happy about it.
Yeah, no, and huge congrats on that. I mean, how do you feel about the frequency of putting things out? Because obviously it's not the same as like a pop artist or a rap artist where like they put out a thing and then they tour and then they have time off. Like you can put out as much as you want or as little as you want. So with like dropping singles right now, like, do you feel any pressure to put out another EP, or do you feel good about like putting things out when you feel right about them?
Yeah, I think I kind of just go off what I feel. Earlier this year, I feel like I wasn't putting that much out just because I was working on so much stuff, and it kind of felt like I was maybe behind everyone else, but I just like pushed myself because I was like, I'm gonna have so much music by the time I'm done.
Yeah.
And it'll all be worth it. And it was, because now I have so much music scheduled that I feel like I can just like relax for a minute and work on new stuff. So
yeah. What's your process like? Do you like to sit down, like crank a song out, or are you a person who like works on it, comes back to it, that kind of thing?
So I usually make the basis of a song in like a night. If I don't like it by then, I just like toss it. A lot of times I will go back to older stuff and be like, oh, this is actually cool, and I'll work on it again. But for me, and I've heard a lot of other producers say this too, like I'll make 75% of a song in one night, and then the rest I'll spend like 2 weeks on just like little things like fills and like mixing it and just adding in like little effects. So mostly I'll like finish everything in like a night and then just like kind of fine tune everything as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have, I know this is like picking your favorite child, but do you have a favorite track that you've released or a favorite one at the moment?
I think it's actually Rage Fatigue, which is the one I just put out on Subsidia. Yeah, that or Burn from my EP. I think those are like my two favorites.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I want to ask too, like, so now that you're at home, like what's your setup like at home? Do you have like a space that you like to create in, or a studio or anything like that?
So I get made fun of this so much, but I usually just produce in my bed. I have my laptop, my hard drive, and my headphones, and I'll just like sit there and produce. Sometimes I'll go to my desk and then I'll just like get tired because I like usually produce late at night. So I'll just go back to my bed. And I've gotten so used to producing on my headphones that I just know how everything sounds.
Right.
So that's usually what I'll do. At my apartment in New York, I had like KRKs and everything set up. So it was a lot nicer. But when I moved back here, I just never set really anything back up again. And then I got CDJs. So I used my monitors for those. And I was like, I'm just going to produce in my headphones for now. Yeah. And whenever like this ends and I get like a new apartment, then I'll like set everything back up. But I'm so used to it now that it just like works for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of, you know what you're doing and it works. How about for live streams? Where do you situate yourself for that?
Oh God. So I set up my CDJs. I got like a new camera, which I found out only records for 30 minutes at a time.
Oh, mine does. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's never
so annoying.
That.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I like recorded a whole set and then I realized, and I called my videographer friend and he was like, yeah, they usually only record for 30 minutes. I'm like,
great.
Why?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, I just have that. I like have my CDJs routed into my laptop. I had like a screen behind me for a while, but I just like took it off and I decorated for like a Sinner stream I did. I put up balloons and stuff. So it's pretty simple, but it was like super stressful to figure out.
Well, I can imagine, because not only that, it's like you got to make sure that technology is going to go right. And now you're worrying about your camera, and then you're hoping the stream doesn't like break up, or that like the Wi-Fi is good. So like it's a lot of pressure, and you're live too on top of everything like that.
I feel like for you too, like people think YouTubers have it so easy, and I'm like, it is so difficult. Like I have so much respect for what you guys do because it's so stressful. Like I don't think people realize how much like effort goes into that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely, I'd say YouTube's more on like the writing the scripts beforehand and then the editing after. But yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
lot. And even did you see for your Couchland set that you did, like the whole, obviously it was like a green screen or something like that, like all the
Yeah.
effects they put in, but did you know what it was going to look like before?
I had no idea. Like I recorded it on a blank wall in the background with like a ring light, and it was just really
Okay.
simple. And then I saw it live and I was just like, oh my God,
Right.
it was insane. And then they redid it too. So for the videos that we actually posted after, they redid everything. So it looked even crazier. And I was
Wow.
like mind blown. Like, I don't even know how that's
Yeah.
possible.
I was gonna say I would expect nothing less from them because it's just absolutely ridiculous, their
Yeah.
production level. But when I saw you like sitting in the middle of this crazy thing, it genuinely blows my mind because it's like, would we have been able to do this if this year didn't happen? Because even Tomorrowland, like they put on a whole virtual festival this summer that you had to buy tickets to. And I was like even a little hesitant. I'm like, oh, is it worth the money? But I wanted to support the festival. And
Mhm.
what they built online that you could like click around to the different islands and the stages was like honestly unreal. I think they're doing it again for New Year's Eve,
Oh
but
my God.
it's amazing to see like what they've done with these live streams. It is pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that Tomorrowland one. I'm so interested. I'll have to like look that
They
up.
did
Do you
a good
know if
job.
it's online anywhere?
I don't know if I know it's like tickets for sale for New Year's. I don't know. I was gonna say, I don't know if it'll be as big as the summer one, but I've seen them teasing the stage designs again on their Instagram, and it's ridiculous. Like I streamed it on my TV, and literally during the Eric Prydz set, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm in his set right now. It was so good, the
Oh
production
my
level that they
God.
had. But
That's
I mean,
amazing.
whatever we need to get us by right now.
Yeah, that's so
Is kind of what
cool.
I'm
I
telling
love
myself.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's all been good. But I do want to talk to you about Girl Gang because I think this is such a cool initiative that you started. And I think it's very much needed right now. Just this year in general, I feel like more people have opened their eyes to like the lack of diversity, to be frank, in the EDM community and the EDM industry and non-festival lineups. And also female artists. I think like it goes without saying every year the DJ Mag top 10, top 100, or like the top 101 producers of the year, like are always lacking female representation on them.
Mhm.
So to start off, could you just tell everybody a little bit about what Girl Gang is and why you started it?
Yeah, so Girl Gang is a community and label I started for women and non-binary people in dance music, just to kind of come together and have a platform. Um, so I started it, I think it was 2 years ago now, maybe 1 year ago. I'm horrible with time. But I originally was going to start it as just a production workshop because I was seeing a lot of
Mm.
DJ workshops. I know Kittens was doing a women's only DJ workshop, but I wasn't seeing a ton of production stuff. So that's initially what it was going to be. And then it took kind of like a year to figure everything out. And by the time, I spent putting everything together, I was like, I can make this so much bigger than just a production workshop. So I started it as a group. We have a Discord, which is amazing. And then I started doing releases earlier this year, label releases. So we did a compilation. We're doing another one this month. And then we've been doing live streams now too.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing Girl Fest, which is like a virtual festival. We just did some more one-off streams a little bit before that. And then we just did the second Girl Fest too. So it's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things, but I'd say like at the forefront, it's just a community mostly.
Yeah. And what's been your favorite part about working on this?
Um, I think it's being in the Discord with everyone because everyone is just so supportive of each other. And I feel
Mhm.
like no one else in the industry, like I don't see that much support for each other from like any other group. I feel like, and it's just so
Mhm.
nice. I feel like you could ask anything and like people are always there. And it just seems like a family that we kind of built.
That's awesome. And is the Discord open to anybody or just like any aspiring artists or people who are already working?
Yeah. So as long as you're kind of already in the industry, like
Mm-hmm.
there's not really like requirements, I
For
guess.
sure.
But like artists, managers, podcasters, literally anyone, as long as you're like in dance music, like I think
Right.
we can all help each other. So
I love this so much. I think it's
Yeah.
such a cool initiative and it's really been awesome. The Girl Fest idea is so cool. I watched the first one and it was awesome, but how do you put those together? Like, how are you building the lineups and stuff for that?
Oh my God. So the first one, I did everything by myself, which was a lot harder than I anticipated, but
I can
I
imagine.
kind of, just got together a lineup of like people who I think were like killing it at the time, and who I thought were really awesome DJs. So I just reached out to everyone, put together this lineup, and then I think the first one was over 2 days. So I just kind of put together like an order of what I think would be like interesting and flow well and sound nice. And everyone put together like the coolest sets ever, like the visuals and everything. I was so impressed. So it was really cool.
Yeah. And it's not just bass artists, right? Is it open to other genres as well?
Any genre.
Yeah. That's so cool. I was going to say, I'm always impressed at like what people are able to pull together, whether it's like lighting that they put up or like backgrounds that they throw behind them. It's cool just to like see their personalities come through. And it also feels like weirdly intimate because you're in someone's house. So I feel like that connection has definitely happened this year, even with some of like the biggest DJs in the world. You're like, I'm in your living room. It feels intimate.
Yeah. Or like in Chet Porter's swimming pool that he did underwater. Like, I don't even know how that was possible, but yeah, it's so cool.
That was ridiculous.
I'm like, so impressed by everyone's setups all the time.
Yeah. And so are you, because I know this is a big thing, especially for people listening to this podcast, they're really big on discovering new music. So for you, I know you mentioned SoundCloud, but how are you constantly looking for new artists to like bring onto the festivals and bring into the label?
Yeah. So usually I'm like searching SoundCloud or Instagram. We have a website where you can sign up to join. So people will use that and then I'll find them through there. We have an amazing A&R named Jackie who I'm so grateful for. And she like brings a lot of girls on and people on that like are really cool. And yeah, it's just kind of like a whole mix of things.
Cool. So if somebody wanted to pitch themselves to you, there's something on your website, right, that they can apply for?
Yeah. So you can apply to join the Discord. There's a form to submit your music just for a Spotify playlist. And then once you're in the Discord, like you can apply to like put out a mix or do like an Instagram takeover or any of that. So I'm kind of just always like looking for ways to support people in the group.
Yeah. Are there any female artists right now on your radar that you would like love to have in the next Girl Fest?
I'd love to have Kiva. I think she's such a sick producer. I don't know if it's Hades or Hades. I think she's incredible. I'd love to have her. Unique. I've been trying to get her on one for so long. That would be awesome. And then just, I don't know, there are so many people killing it. I feel like I could throw 1,000 and still have people left over. So
we're manifesting the next Girl Fest.
Yeah.
When is the next event? I know you just had one. Are you going to wait till after the holidays, you think?
I think so. I might go back into doing just like one-off streams just because it's a lot easier and it's a lot quicker. I don't have to set up a whole thing every time. So
right.
Yeah, we'll see. But probably after the holidays because this month we're doing a compilation. So I think that's just going to be the focus for now.
Yeah, for sure. And would you see this in the future expanding to a real festival or a real event?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like the goal. Even just like a stage at a festival or something I think would be really cool. And I was working on that before, but then this happened. So hopefully once things pick back up, it would be really cool for sure.
Oh my God, I'm so there.
Yeah, you have to join, by the way.
I know. I was just going to say I'm going to be joining right after this, but oh my God, that would be so good. It just feels honestly like as a female EDM fan, it just feels so good to see like a female artist up there on stage. I know that sounds cheesy, but I remember when I first saw Anna Leno play EDC main stage, EDC Las Vegas main stage, and I'm pretty sure she was the first female artist to do that. I just remember being like, this is amazing. Like this is a moment, and seeing Alice in Wonderland up there. I just think it's so cool. And in your experience, like for the most part, how have you felt as a female producer, especially in the bass industry? Like, has it been a welcoming environment or have you felt like there have been obstacles?
I think it's a little bit of both. So I think for one, it's almost a benefit because you stand out more because there's so many men that like just being a woman automatically you stand out. But at the same time, like I have gotten comments like, how did you get booked for this show? Or like, you don't produce your own stuff or like all that kind of stuff. But I just ignore it. It doesn't affect me anymore. And I feel like, at least for me lately, it's a lot less of the negativity. I feel like people are becoming more open to it. So I just try not to get like, even with Girl Gang and stuff, I just like to support all these artists because they're dope, not just because they're like, you know, so yeah, I think kind of goes both ways.
Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, moving forward, I think, especially given this year, I think people are more open to it and realizing like there definitely needs to be a more diverse range of people that we're listening to. So I hope people also on the receiving end of the music are just being more open-minded and not even like considering that, like you said, or it's not even a factor, whether you're male, female, like whatever. But I think the initiative is amazing. I like wish you guys the best of luck. I can't wait to see. I discover so many new artists too, based on your lineups, which is like the coolest thing because I'll see you post the GRL FEST lineup. And if I don't recognize any names, there's that many more female artists that I find to listen to. So I appreciate you putting those lineups together. I know it's hard work. I can't even imagine.
I love that. I had someone run the last GRL FEST, so it took like, it was so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes me happy because I think like that's honestly the main reason I do it. I want people to like discover new artists. So
yeah, for sure. And before I let you go, I wanted to ask too, do you have any advice to any like aspiring producers and DJs who are listening, who want to get into, you know, producing or even just get into the bass music industry?
Yeah. I think just be patient, keep going. Like it's so hard, especially right now. There's so many new up and coming artists all the time. I mean, I've been doing this for like 5 years and I still feel like I'm like up and coming and like trying to like make my place in the scene. So yeah, just like keep going and don't give up. I know it's like so hard so many times. And yeah, don't be afraid to like reach out to artists. I've sent so many artists my music and you just never know like who is going to listen to something and end up playing it or giving you feedback even. So definitely don't be afraid to send your music out. Cause I think it took me a while before I started to do that.
Right.
And also I think just right now I want to say like, it can be so, you can get so wrapped up in it. It's like really time consuming and draining, but I would say just make it a point not to like neglect your mental health and the people you care about and making time for them. So I think that's really important too.
No, I really appreciate you saying that. I think that's, to your point, you've been at this like grinding for 5 years and then all of a sudden you feel like there's a momentum building, which is how I feel it's happening for you. And then it like all of a sudden happens and like your name's on all these lineups and things like that. But it takes so much time and effort. And I would throw in too, get on TikTok and make TikTok videos. Oh
my God, it's so fun. I wasn't on it for a while. I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to make any, but I just started to make them and I'm addicted. It's really fun.
I've been finding because like it's a separate medium. I remember back in the day with Vine, like Shawn Mendes started as a freaking Vine star and same thing. Like I'm getting so many different producers because the mixes are so popular popping up on my For You page. And I've been watching these artists like absolutely pop off on TikTok. So it's like, if you just want to throw a couple quick videos up on TikTok, it's another way to get your name out there too.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel like I've already gotten a lot of like new like fans and stuff from TikTok from like 3 videos. So it's totally worth it.
That's so funny. What a weird world we're living in.
You know, who would have thought?
Yes, seriously. My last question for you is, what are you like the most excited about right now?
I think I'm most excited about all the music I have coming out. I would say like the first quarter of like 2021, like all set with so much stuff. So I'm really excited and just excited about like the future of bass music in general. I feel like there's just so much good music right now. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, plug where everybody can find you and connect with you and Girl Gang.
Yeah, so I'm at Jeannie Sounds on everything. Girl Gang is at We Are Girl Gang. It's just GRL Gang. WeAreGirlGang.com. And then the SoundCloud is just Girl Gang.
Awesome. Okay. I will link everything below and really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was like the most fun interview I think I've ever done.
Thank you. I'm so nervous.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jeannie. She was so cool and so chilled out. I absolutely loved getting to know her and just talking with her. I think it's so cool. I don't get to interview artists that much anymore, and I really enjoy it. And I love her sound, and her newest single, Rage Fatigue, is awesome. So again, do all of the things. Show her all of the Rave Culture Cast love. Go stream her music, give her a follow on Instagram at Jeannie Sounds, and definitely go show Girl Gang some support at We Are Girl Gang. And again, it's spelled GRL GANG. They have all kinds of compilations out, so there's never ending music if you guys want to listen to something. And again, if you are a female artist listening and you are interested in joining it, there is a submission form on their website, so you guys can definitely reach out to them if you're interested in joining that community. I think it's so freaking cool, and I'm a part of the Discord now, so I'm so excited. I joined like immediately after we had that conversation, so really cool. But anyway, let me get into EDM news here, and then we will do songs of the week, and then we'll wrap this whole thing up. So I have quite a few bits of industry news this week, not so much festival news. What else is new? But first off, this is just a little quick teaser, because anytime I see something happen on social media, I'll jot it down and be like, I need to bring this up in the podcast. And I saw a quick post on Homebase's Instagram stories recently, and they were teasing a Homebase record label, which sounded amazing, and I like screenshotted it. I haven't found anything on it since, but it sounds like Homebase Records is coming, people, and I think that's going to be amazing. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. Also, for those of you who aren't familiar, I know I've talked about Homebase. I had Brian, the owner and founder, on this fall, but Homebase is basically like a stay where you play event company, and it's based out of Florida. So if you attend like EDC Orlando or some of their own events like Hotel Elsewhere, Dirty Bird Campin', yeah, you can basically stay there. They do after parties, pool parties, they shuttle you to the festival and all that fun stuff. So really cool company. I saw online that Kygo is going to be offering some tutorials of how he makes music, and it's all a part of this company called Monthly. So Monthly is a Silicon Valley startup, and it has tapped celebrities and well-known creators in their bid to break into the e-learning space with their model of immersive 30-day online classes. So they announced that Kygo is going to be one of those people, and he is launching a course teaching you the end-to-end process of how he produces his hit songs. So if you guys are interested and you want to learn that, definitely check that out. Again, that's monthly.com. Okay, next up, I wanted to mention Grizzmas, which I know a lot of you guys are excited about, but basically Grizz is putting on his 7th annual Grizzmas, which is a annual charity series that happens for 12 days. It's a live stream. It's happening over Twitch and Zoom this year. The events are going to be, they already started, but it's December 12th to the 23rd, and it raises money for the nonprofit 7 Mile Music, which benefits music, arts, and coding programs for Detroit's inner city youth, which is freaking awesome. Some of the events that are happening, there's a jazz stream, which is really cool, between Grizz and Friends, a yoga day, a global mic night for fans to show off their own musical performances, and the final night of the series is going to be a huge live stream festival featuring performances from artists like Destructo, AC Slater, Jay Wara, Blunts and Blondes, and Sun Squabby, and a ton of other artists. So yeah, if you guys are interested, that's going to be going on. It's already happening. Definitely check it out. Grizz is just like a light in the dark. He's just an absolute sweetheart in the EDM community and a wonderful human being, and I just feel like he brings so much light and positivity to the EDM industry. So I think it's really cool that he does that every year, so definitely go support it and check it out. And then in another, that didn't sound like a sentence. I talk too fast for my own good. In another initiative, Brownies and Lemonade is putting on a charitable event, LA Gives Back. It is happening this weekend, December 17th and 18th. It is a 24-hour global telethon, which is very cool, broadcasting on Twitch. All proceeds are going to help the homeless, which is absolutely amazing. And the lineup is huge, you guys. Some of the highlights: Madeon, Eric Andre, Bauer and Holly, Tom Morello, Snake Hips, Young Baby Tate, Brain Feeder, Pussy Riot, and so many more. So that is happening this weekend. No shortage of live streams or music. You guys are pretty covered throughout the end of the year. Okay, and then in festival news, I wanted to read this from Hangout Festival because we got an update from them. And honestly, I'm surprised other festivals kind of haven't taken this approach yet, but it's just an update from them. They basically said, hey, we're missing you. In a normal December, we would normally be dropping our lineup for the festival next year. However, putting tickets on sale and picking out our beach outfits, as we all know, isn't gonna happen right now. So as you can imagine, COVID is still presenting us with some uncertainty with respect to our usual planning for a May 2021 event. We like the encouraging vaccine news out there, but it's still too early to tell if we can move forward with the hangout experience y'all deserve. Therefore, rather than announcing the lineup now, we're gonna continue to monitor the situation and give you another update by the end of January. Until then, let's all do our part to keep each other safe and think positively. We appreciate you and thank you for your patience and understanding during this unprecedented time. So I appreciated that update. Again, it's just gonna be really interesting to see who else follows suit, because we know that there are some major festivals that are scheduled for March, April, and May. And I'm sure they're all thinking the same thing, but I appreciated getting an update. I'm personally waiting to hear from Electric Forest, totally random, but usually in December they drop their lineup and tickets go on sale, and we haven't heard anything about the event in 2021, and that is the one that I'm like holding my breath about. So we shall see. I feel like we're gonna have to figure out what happens with this vaccine. And speaking of that, my last news of the day, Live Nation president says concerts will resume at full capacity in summer 2021. Let's read this together, shall we? So basically the founder of, or the president of Live Nation Music put out some news saying that they are expecting live tours and concerts to resume in summer 2021. And they're obviously basing that off of the news of the vaccine potentially being distributed more widely by then. Again, we have no idea. I'm trying to watch the news to see what the latest is, but it basically says they're starting to get more clarity about when we can return to live events. In the key US and Western European markets, it continues to be our expectation that by next summer, we'll be back with our major outdoor shows. Our amphitheaters here in the United States, festivals globally, will be able to do those shows, which is promising to hear. Regarding safety protocols, he said he didn't anticipate, based on the expected distribution of the vaccine by next summer, that outdoor full capacity shows would return first. I want to get excited, like I truly do want to get excited, but we just don't know. So we'll see what happens. All right, you guys, I want to jump into my songs of the week because I have 3 absolute bangers this week. I will be sharing the links in the Facebook group community if you guys aren't already in there. But let me just hop into these 3. Okay, so my first one is from the new EP from Chris Lake and Armin van Helden. And my favorite one off of it is called Work. You guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that they came in freaking hot at the end of the year with this EP, and this song 100% is gonna make my top releases of the entire year. It is that good. It's their song Work. It is the most infectious house beat. Like the bass line and the build up in this are so fucking good, and I just cannot help but move to this. Like we don't expect anything less from Chris Lake. Like hello, he's absolutely amazing. So the two of them together, the whole EP is great, but Work, hands down one of the best tracks of the year. Another one that I really loved is from an artist that is new to me. This song is called Frichti, I think, Frichti, and the artist is Keld. I think it's Keld or it's Keeld, I'm sorry, Keeld. I saw this because I follow Bite This Records, which is Jaws' label, and this EP was released on Bite This. Love it. It's a really great groovy bass house track, and I really liked the EP in general, but Frichti was my favorite. Good one to dance and shuffle to, so definitely check him out if you guys aren't familiar. And then lastly, we were blessed with an amazing quick little EP from Dylan Francis and TV Noise. And first off, I fucking love Dylan. He's hysterical and everything he does makes me laugh. Just like his personality and his sense of humor about his music. So they released this EP that's called festival bangers for when festivals start again, because there are no festivals. And this song Booty Bust is fire. It's so good, it's loud, it's booty poppin'. It's a great trap slash moombahton track. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see him play that live. It's gonna be so good. So anyway, yeah, those 3 are my top picks for the week. They are also in my new Music Friday playlist, which comes out every Friday. If you guys are interested, definitely subscribe to that, and you'll get the latest and greatest in EDM delivered to you every Friday morning. Ooh, I just got nice and mellow on you guys. I hope my voice is nice and relaxing. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you all so much for spending time with me on your Wednesday or whenever you are listening. I truly hope you enjoyed the interview with Jeannie. I love talking to her. I love to have people on here who are making this community a better place, and Jeannie is definitely doing that in more ways than one. So you guys need to put her on your radar. Give her a follow at Jeannie Sounds. Go check out Girl Gang, GRL GANG, at We Are Girl Gang on Instagram. They are on SoundCloud. And again, if you guys are interested in working with them, you can apply on their website. Go stream her newest single, Rage Fatigue. It is on Subsidia's Night Volume 2. Check out her EP, Sinner. And again, you guys, I would absolutely appreciate it if you are enjoying this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make it your Instagram stories today and tag at Rave Culture Cast. You can come join our Facebook group community. Again, we just hit 500 members, which is so amazing, and you guys are absolutely incredible. I'm loving it. And yeah, last up, if you need a Christmas gift idea or a Hanukkah idea or whatever you guys celebrate, definitely check out the Rave Culture Cast merch line. We've got hoodies, long sleeves, beanies, all of your winter needs. So thank you to anybody who supported that already. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back next Wednesday with another amazing interview. Bye guys.